For this week, headlines and facts, please. 4 stories about people finding new ways to push demonic agendas, and one very happy ending for a young couple who decided at the last minute to keep their baby. Planned Parenthood is using your tax dollars to bring abortion services to you by deploying a fleet of RVs. Antifa is supporting so-called churches that host drag queen events for kids. A New York judge gives a green light to polygamy in a recent ruling. And Disney cancels the release of a new FX show about a woman impregnated by Satan and her Antichrist daughter. I'm not making this up. I'm David Fiorazzo, and this is Christ and Culture. The nation's largest abortion business will be handing out abortion pills and providing surgical abortions inside a fleet of murder mobiles in just a few months. That's right. Planned Parenthood announced last week they're hitting the road in 37-foot RVs in order to bring life-ending abortion services to the border of states that have banned the procedure. The goal of Death on Wheels is convenience, of course, as the mobile abortion clinics would reduce travel times and distances for victims, patients, at state lines. Now, one example is the Illinois border, which apparently has become a kind of haven for those who live in Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee wanting to abort their children. Next story, one radical judge says the definition of family has morphed since 1989, and so has what is normal. New York Civil Court Judge Karen May Bakdayan wrote that the time has arrived for polyamorous relationships to have legal rights, and said the problem with previous same-sex rulings is, quote, they recognize only two-person relationships, end quote. Writing at the Washington Stand, Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council warned, quote, the media laughed off the conservative movement's concerns about this slippery slope when Democrats pushed to sexualize the military 20 years ago. Now, almost 2 decades later, with American parents in the fight of their lives over transgenderism and judges paving the way for, quote, plural marriage, it unfortunately proves we were right. Nearly 20 years ago, by the way, the late Justice Antonin Scalia warned of a day when state laws based on moral choices against bigamy, same-sex marriage, adult incest, prostitution, adultery, fornication, bestiality, and obscenity, state laws would fall. Today, it's no surprise that 23% of Americans now think polygamy is morally acceptable. Next story. We know we're living in crazy times when so-called churches deny teachings of the Bible and invite Satanists to their drag shows. Remember, church has been redefined. So this story in Katy, Texas, a religious liberal social justice club masquerading as a church was defended by communist group Antifa. Let me explain. They showed up to defend LGBTQ-affirming church in a family-friendly drag bingo event and counter-protest against the hateful, homophobic, transphobic Bible believers outside the event. Independent reporter Taylor Hansen said First Christian Church also gave attendees pins that said not all Christians suck. Remember, Jesus is the same. God never changes. The Bible is true. Scripture is inerrant. Not every church is a biblical church, and not every pastor is a real pastor. Next, likely due to parental backlash, demonic and depraved Disney canceled the new release of an FX show called Little Demon, featuring a plot depicting pagan rituals. That's right. The animated comedy was said to take place in Delaware, but no word on how close the Antichrist lived to Joe Biden. From the description, it says, it has been 13 years since being impregnated by Satan, and a reluctant mother, Laura, and her Antichrist daughter, Chrissy, attempt to live an ordinary life in Delaware. However, the two are constantly thwarted by monstrous forces, including Satan, who yearns for custody of his daughter's soul. End quote. Disney, programming for children. Welcome to 2022 in America. Finally, some good news. A few weeks ago, we reported on the fact Biden's Justice Department has yet to arrest a single arsonist, vandal, or pro-abortion terrorist in more than 100 cases across the country where pro-life pregnancy centers and churches were attacked, vandalized, or firebombed. But the FBI did raid the home of Mark Houck, a pro-life activist. Now, though, a young black couple from Philadelphia said Houck was responsible for saving the life of their preborn baby when their hands were literally on the front door of a Planned Parenthood. The young mother said their conversation with Mark eventually led them to choose life for their baby girl, Nevaeh. Targeted for intimidation by Democrat administration, Houck is facing 11 years behind bars. But the couple said they named their baby Nevaeh, which is heaven spelled backward, because they believe their child is a gift from God. Now, this world is on a fast track to hell, make no mistake. But even with astounding amounts of bad news these days, there are always plenty of stories with happy endings. We just need to look a little harder for those. God bless you and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.